Tintin XL 92.5 FM.
Hi, welcome in. Glad you're along on a Friday. Our Fridays are brought to you by Big Chief Tire Company. Today's new drug is the last day that Hacker Nation has to put up with us losers. Me, JJ, and Hays back together on Monday, but it'll be Hacker Nation with us one last time. You had fun on these last 10 days, 9 days?
I have, yeah.
You're not going to quit the company and the protest of having to put up with us?
No, man, it's been a good time. I've enjoyed the opportunity to be here during the daylight.
Yeah, so it's good to have you there. And then you go eat dinner and come back for the nighttime.
That's right. That's exactly my plan this evening.
All right, so it's a good plan. A lot to talk about today on a Friday. Pete Prisco stops by at 5 o'clock to talk NFL, as he always does. We get closer and closer to the draft. That's a couple weeks away. We'll certainly talk about that coming up. The Masters. How about the leaderboard? Is that any good? That leaderboard any good? Justin Rose is in at 8. He's done for the day. Bryson DeChambeau, done for the day, is at 7. Rory McIlroy, done for the day, is at 6 under. And Scotty Scheffler is at 6 under and still playing. He's about halfway through. He's through 9. He's on number 10 as we speak. It's a pretty good leaderboard right there. Even Jason Day making a little run. Wouldn't it be great if Jason Day was around in this thing?
It would be great. He's 5 under. He's 3 shots off the pace. And how good is the game of golf? Rory McIlroy, when we got off the air yesterday, was 4 under, but then he doubles 15. He doubles 17.
Yeah.
You know, he's stewing on it the entire evening. All he does is come back and shoot a 6 under round at 66 today.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. The great ones are great. That's one thing we know for sure. So, all right, a lot of things to get to today on the program. You're the NBA guy in the room.
I try to be, yeah.
Is the Todd Golden to Denver? That's just a rumor. That's not happening, right?
I've seen Todd Golden to Denver. I've seen Dan Hurley to Denver.
All of them. Okay, so
there are guys that, and look, far be it for me to denounce any reports, but there are some people out there with literally 1,500 Twitter followers that are, I guess, members of the media, but I've never
heard there's nothing to that.
No, I can't imagine there is, because I saw a Dan Hurley to Denver report literally 20 minutes ago on top of the Golden stuff. So, yeah, I don't think so.
I will tell you this. It was always my expectation that Billy Donovan at some point was going to try the NBA. It was always my expectation that at some point Steve Spurrier was going to try the NFL. Miami fans always knew that at some point both Jimmy Johnson and Dennis Erickson would try the NFL. Having said all that, at some point Todd Golden's trying the NBA. There's no doubt in my mind. He's only 39. He's got that NBA kind of look and feel to him. He's an analytics guy. He connects with players. They play fast. They get shots up. They do a lot of NBA things. So there's no doubt in my mind. I don't think 30 years from now, when he's 69, Todd Golden's going to be the Florida basketball coach. You agree with that?
I agree with that.
He's trying. At some point, he's trying the NBA.
I think it'll be very similar to Billy.
Yeah.
In that Billy
we had Billy 19 years. I'll sign up for that right now.
Yeah. I mean, Todd Golden at 39 years of age, he's on top of the college basketball world. Now, some people would say, is he more Brad Stevens than Billy Donovan? Because Brad Stevens, when he was hot, left to go to Boston.
Yeah, could be. By the way, the Brad Stevens thing, and he's a wonderful front office administrator. I'm still shocked he just quit coaching.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird because we haven't seen that. I mean, some guys, if it doesn't work out the way they want it to in the NBA, they pop right back to college. I said this. There was a stretch there where Mike Montgomery from Cal, Lon Kruger, Leonard Hamilton, Cal, Pitino. There were 7 or 8 guys, prominent college coaches, that got NBA jobs, made $25 million, failed, popped back to college, set for life, right? Do you remember all that?
Yeah.
It was Pitino, Calipari, Lon Kruger, Leonard Hamilton, Mike Montgomery. I'm missing some guys. There are about 6 or 7 of them, prominent college coaches. The NBA calls them. They give them a 5-year, $25 million deal. They fail. They're fired after 4 years. They have all their money. They get their buyout, and they go back to college, and they're successful in college. And so that's before this current wave. Right now, if you're not an NBA fan, if you went and looked at a roster of NBA coaches, you wouldn't know any of the names because they're NBA lifers and their assistants and they're a bunch of guys you didn't know the name. But it didn't used to be that way. It used to be recycled guys like Lenny Wilkins and Hubie Brown or college guys that they brought up.
Let me ask you this. Billy Donovan's mentor was Rick Pitino.
Correct.
Rick Pitino went to the NBA. Eventually, Billy Donovan went to the NBA. With Todd Golden, it's Randy Bennett.
That's
and
correct.
It's Bruce Pearl. Lifetime college guys.
Good call.
Does that matter at all?
I'm glad. Maybe. It's a great point. It's a great point. Yeah. What did your mentor do, and what was his career path? It might. Look, I want to be wrong on this one, but my gut is he just strikes me as an NBA guy. So I think at some point he tried. Like you look at college football, I was always convinced Dan Mullen would land in the NFL at some point. No, he didn't, and he's back at another college, so maybe he won't. But I always saw Dan Mullen as an NFL guy. I've never seen Kirby Smart or Dabo. Saban was going to be an NFL guy. I tried it and came back, but he had an NFL guy because he had been in the NFL.
Right.
Kirby Smart and Dabo Swinney were never going to the NFL. They're Southern college, good old boy, very good coaches, by the way. But Ryan Day, I could see in the NFL. Kirby Smart, I could never see in the NFL. Agree or disagree?
I totally agree with that. Kirby Smart just loves the recruiting, loves the grind,
He's a Southern
loves
guy.
everything
He's
about
a Georgia guy.
And look, with Billy Donovan, I think it was almost a point of I've done everything at Florida.
Right, that's
I want
right.
to try something else. I don't think Todd Golden's there. He's only been there 3 years. He has 6 tournament wins. Now, I think Todd Golden goes to the NBA, but I think it's a decade from now, which, again, I'm totally fine with. I don't think it happens tomorrow.
It's still, I know it's been 4 days, and we talked about it ad nauseum. It's still pretty amazing that this guy, Todd, we talk about it because it's Florida. But it would be just as amazing if it was Illinois or Wichita State or Arizona, that this guy that's coaching San Francisco lands in Gainesville. Scott Strickland, to his credit, I think I told this story. You might not have heard it. But when Mike White left for Georgia, okay, when he left, the very next day, I was on the phone with Jeremy Foley. I'm good friends with Scott, but I'm really close with Jeremy. So I'm on the phone with Jeremy Foley. Like the next maybe 2 days later, might have been, but it was not. It was either a day later or 2 days after Mike White left. It was really close, Hack. And I said, Jeremy, what do you think? What do you think? What's Scott going to do? And his answer was, Scott's got his guy. He's going to go try and hire him. I'll never forget that. And I'll go, who's he hiring? He said, I'm not going to tell you. He said, but he's got his guy. And I tried to get it out of him. He wouldn't tell me, and I wouldn't have told me either.
Yeah.
But Jeremy told me 2 days at the most after Mike White left, Scott's got his guy. So now I'm speculating. I don't remember who all the hot guys were, but I can tell you Todd Golden wasn't on the list.
No.
He went on my list.
It's the one guy that beat Golden in the first round of that tournament that ended up at LSU.
Yeah, that Matt, whatever his name. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I remember all the names, and I don't even remember who the other names were at the time, but I can see it resonates on the phone with Jeremy telling me, Frank, Scott's got his guy. He's going to go try and hire him. And it turns out to be Todd Golden. So anyway, this Todd Golden guy comes along. He shows up in the Southeast. He's not a Southeastern guy. He's from Arizona. He played on the left coast. He played in Europe for a while. But he was with Auburn he was with Bruce Pearl at Auburn for a while. Been at Columbia, but he's anything but a Southeastern guy.
Right.
Shows up at this school, Florida, which hadn't won a tournament game in 3 or 4 years. Right. Hadn't won. Which had not been past the Sweet 16 since 2018. I think it was. That was the Chelsea year. I think it was
17.
7. Okay, so 17 had.
Yep.
So had a modicum of success at best, and this Todd Golden guy shows up. He gets a handful of transfers. Nobody knows, and he wins the national championship. And I don't mean, and I'm not saying just because it's Florida. I mean, again, it's a bigger story to us because it's Florida. But the basketball world, again, he could have done it at Iowa. We'd won. What just happened?
And he beat Dan Hurley, Bruce Pearl, and Kelvin Sampson.
Along the way
to get there. It's very similar. I mean, Billy Donovan was a Providence guy.
Right.
Billy Donovan was a Northeastern guy. He wasn't in the South.
But you're right. But something about Donovan, it wasn't as shocking. Even though Jeremy got him very young, he had been a coach at Marshall for 2 years. You had a hunch there was something there because he was Little Pitino. You know what I mean? And everybody knew how great Pitino was. And here comes Little Pitino. And he was also getting, the first time he went to the Final Four, he had Mike Miller, top recruit in the country.
Yeah.
So he had Teddy Dupay, who everybody wanted. So
Eddie Fogler is still mad about that
right.
somewhere.
He is still mad about it.
Yeah.
He had Donnell Harvey, who was a top 5 recruit. So you knew if you started adding all that up, something good could happen, right? To your favorite game of all time, the Casey Calvary game was just 1 year before that.
Assault and battery on Brent Wright.
But you know what I mean, Hack? You could kind of see it come. This one, there's no way you could have seen this coming. I told this story. So Hays and I were doing the show at the arena, the start of the season. And my buddy Chris Harry came on. Chris and I have been friends for 35 years. Covered the team together. We were beat writers together way back in the day. and they're playing USF. Okay, it's cold as heck in there because they have the ice is underneath the arena. It's cold. It looks like they're going to announce 4,500, 5,000. I don't think it turned out to be a great crowd. It was the beginning. The football season was still going. Hays and I are doing the show down there. Chris comes and sits with us. All right, and he sits in between. We put him in between us for the segment he's on with us. We're live from the arena. And hey, Chris, how you been? Family, blah blah blah. Tell us about the team. And he looks at Hays and me. He goes, "Dude, they are really good." And I said, "Well, no, good. I mean, I hope they're good. They went to the tournament last year. They probably should have beat Colorado." He's, "No, you don't understand. This is the best team since the Final Four team in 14, and they might even be better." Well, I looked at him, and this is a guy that really knows his stuff. One of my closest friends in the business. And I looked at him like he had a blue head.
Yeah.
And I said, Chris, I'm sure they're. He said, no. He said, trust me. You guys got to trust. This is on air. Mm-hmm. You got to trust me. They are really good. And then he went through because he's seen him practice. Then he went through the litany of guys and this guy and that guy. He told us about Elijah Martin, who we didn't know much about. He told us that Clayton and Richard were in great shape, which we've seen. He told us about Chinyelu, how he's Patrick Young, but a little more, a little more twitchy. He went through all the guys. And so, Chris, hey, great having you out. And I was going to go hang out with him a little bit after between the show and the tip. So I think the tip was like 8, so we had some time. So he leaves, and I looked at Hays. We go to break, and I looked at Hays during the break, and I said, "I love Chris. He's my guy, and he's got a great eye for this stuff." But I think he got caught up in the. I go to practice. I know the coaches, the recency stuff a little. I'm sure they're pretty good. They can't be as good as he said. They won the national championship.
36-4 later.
Yeah, I mean, they won the national championship.
When I think guys like you and me, when Will Richard and Walter Clayton tested the draft waters and came back, I think we had an inkling they were going to be pretty good.
Right, that's
Obviously, I didn't pick them to win the national title. I'll say the same thing. If Condon and Houck come back, I think they're going to be pretty good again next year.
I do too. And by the way, they're coming back. Houck won't even test the waters. I don't think. Condon will test the waters, but his game is very flawed by NBA standards. And big guy's got to shoot it. He's got to shoot it better. They're going to lose the 3 guards, and I think everybody else. Alexis might have to leave just to go play more, but most of those guys will be back. I agree with you. I think they'll have a very good team. We did this earlier in the week. They'll have a very good team next year. The 2 freshmen coming in are really good. A few of the guys that didn't play much, Isaiah Brown, are pretty good.
They're in play for, Xavier Lee, the kid from Princeton, who was Tommy Houck's teammate up in Pennsylvania. Yeah. He's a 17-point-a-game guy. He's in the portal right now at guard.
So they'll get 2 guards.
Yeah.
They'll get 2 good guards who are older, whoever they are. I don't know who they are. But anyway, it's just as I look at this thing, it's just amazing to me. When I got away from how exhilarated I was and how thrilled I was and how happy I was, and like you, I keep going back and watching those end games over and over. But when I get away from how happy it made me to where I can walk away and actually think about how incredibly unusual it is that this guy with no top 100 recruits, first time team to ever win without any, with his 3rd year in the South, without much of a pedigree before he got here, without players with any pedigree, just won the national title.
Like we said, with transfers from FAU, Elon, Marshall, Washington State, and Belmont.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. So anyway, good stuff. We'll talk more about that as we go, including tomorrow's spring game. When we come back, though, I'm going to start the program with Nico Iamaleava, because he might be Nico Iamaleaving.
He's mad, man. That's the rumor.
I mean, what a story. Is this what college football has become? We're going to start with that. We'll talk some college basketball. Pete Prisco checks in at 5 o'clock. A lot to do on the program. This is a Friday. Our Fridays are always brought to you, by the way, by our friends at Big Chief Tire Company with 5 locations here on the First Coast. The latest one is Orange Park. They're also on the north side, 2 on the west side, here on the south side. Boy, the Parmans are a great family. My friend Reed runs that thing now, and he does such a fantastic job. If you need tires, automotive service, oil change, brakes, alignments, they do it all. They really do a fantastic job. Always a Big Chief Tire Friday around here. More in a moment. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Get Florida Gators play-by-play on 1010XL.
The Gators spring football game is Saturday afternoon at 1 on 1010 AM.
It's truck season again at Nimnick Chevrolet, and this month you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 2.9%. Now, unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck at Nimnick. And available now, the all-new Silverado EV is designed to go the difference. The Silverado EV boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor. And ask about low-rate financing and $7,500 instant cash savings on EVs. Remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $3,000 in trade assistance. That is a great deal. So remember, who's got more Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick. That's Nimnick. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Say goodbye to glasses and contacts with customized vision treatments at Bowden Eye & Associates. Hey, Hicken here. Dr. Bowden and his expert team bring you the latest options, like Evo implantable Collamer lenses, refractive lens exchange, or traditional LASIK, tailored just for you. Imagine waking up to clear vision, no hassle, no fuss, ready to see the difference? Call now or visit BowdenEye.com for a free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it," and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my success with back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today, 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
Do you know someone looking for a fun and rewarding summer job? Join the YMCA team, gain valuable experience, and make a difference in kids' lives. Turn your passion for this community into a fulfilling career at the First Coast YMCA. Now hiring camp counselors, lifeguards, childcare leaders, and membership experience team. Every single person on the dedicated YMCA staff plays a role in making the Y a welcoming and vital resource for our community. Find your career at the Y at fcymca.org.
Equal opportunity employer.
Draft season is here, and so is Mia's Mock Draft Mondays. And this year, we're powered by One Night Taco Stand. Each week, I'll unveil a new set of possible targets for the big cats on the 1010XL social channels and 1010XL.com. Let's talk about it on 1010XL.
Keeping kids active is a full-time job for parents. Look no further, though, than I-9 Sports, covering Duval, St. John's, and Clay to get your youngster in the game. Spring and summer registration open right now for flag football, soccer, t-ball, and basketball. Plus, all new girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows. I-9 Sports with fields and gyms all over 3 counties. And the best thing is I-9 Sports offers sports year-round so kids can always find a sport to play. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyoublow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
David here with Royal Pest Services. Man, don't let your yard be torn up by that heavy aeration machine this spring. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to learn more about our granular aeration. Broadcast throughout the tree and shrubs to break up that compacted soil. Visit RoyalPestServices.com.
Keep your ball out of the rough with the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Get great golf tips from the experts every Saturday morning at 10. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour on 1010XL. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
Man, we sure appreciate our friends from Big Chief. Again, 5 locations in town. Orange Park, the north side, 2 on the west side, and the south side over here on Phillips Highway. You want your car running right now. And they've been keeping jacks rolling for a long time, over 60 years. You can trust my friends at Big Chief Tire Company. That's the name to know. Frangie and Hacker with you today. JJ LaSelva as well. Hays Carlyon returns. He's at the Sphere. See, he's seeing the Eagles at the Sphere.
Yeah, I told him to warm it up for me because I'll be out there in June.
Kenny Chesney, right?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Yeah. Baselli went to see the Eagles at the Sphere. I got a couple other buddies that did that.
Blue's been there.
He saw you too there.
Yeah.
So which is I thought about going, Suzanne, and I talked about it. We had friends in the neighborhood that were thinking about going who wound up not going. Almost went, and because they say it's a magical experience. But you've seen Kenny Chesney a bunch. I've seen the Eagles so many times, so I chose not to. But I hear it's a wonderful experience. So Nico Iamaleava, who might be Nico Iamaleaving, the Tennessee quarterback, is in a contract dispute. This is the first college player ever to hold out. Has there ever been a college player a holdout before? He skipped practice today as he waits. This is a college football player, skipped practice today because he doesn't like his contract terms. He's apparently looking for a $4 million deal. Now, he got $8 million to go there, right? So now he wants $4 million. Apparently, whatever was left on the contract, he wants to renegotiate to $4 million a year. This is probably his last year there. How crazy is that? Is that where college football is headed, to holdouts? And this isn't like the pros where you can hold out, but when you come back, everybody accepts you warmly because they know that's the business. And this could be really damaging for Tennessee.
It could be really damaging for Tennessee, and it's going to go one of two ways. Because if you're Tennessee, apparently the rumor was Nico's camp reached out to them, like you said, and said, hey, we want to basically renegotiate. Tennessee, essentially, according to the report, said, I don't think so. And here we are. Nico didn't go to practice today. If you're Tennessee and you give in to this, well, then the floodgates open.
That's right.
Then everybody in Knoxville is coming knocking at your door saying, wait a minute, I want to renegotiate too. So you got to dig in at this point. But if you don't have your quarterback, you have no chance in 2025.
Old school college football guy doesn't show up, he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine telling Steve Spurrier you weren't coming to practice because you didn't like your contract terms?
You know who else is rooting for Tennessee to dig in? Every college football program in America today.
Correct, because I just think to myself, when I saw the story, first I saw the story that he wanted more money. And so I kind of half paid attention. I'm thinking, listen, the NIL and portal world has changed college football so much that nothing's going to surprise me. And then I skipped practice in a contract dispute. Well, I lied because that surprised me. I just can't believe that's where, and again, this isn't an old get off my lawn moment. The world changes all the time. I get it, and I'm okay with the world changing. There's some things I wish hadn't changed, but I know that's how it works. Things change. But I'm shocked that a kid held out and skipped practice in a contract dispute. What's to keep Josh Heupel from telling him, hey, dude, you ever skip practice again, you're gone. I don't care what your damn contract says. Now, maybe what keeps him is because he's a pretty good player. He isn't that good, though. He's a good player. He's not a great player. I thought he was honestly, watching that Tennessee-Florida game, I thought he might have been the third best quarterback in that game last year.
Yeah, he wasn't good in that game.
Yeah, I mean, he was third best guy in the game, right? I mean, I thought. So crazy story.
Well, the thing about it, too, is I say people, there are a lot of college football fans that wanted players to get paid. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I think players did deserve money. I always go back to the Chris Webber story in Ann Arbor. He's passing the Michigan bookstore in the early 90s. They won $150 for the number 4 jersey. That's Webber's jersey. Webber said he didn't have $20 in his pocket.
Right.
And the bookstore's getting $150 a pop for his uniform.
I remember it well.
Craziness. So players did deserve money. But in doing that, this is what it's become. So I guess I would ask, if you want to hit us up on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, your thoughts on players now getting paid. Because as Frangie just laid out, we got a contract dispute in college football now. It's craziness.
What if DJ Lagway did this?
Exactly.
How would you feel? DJ Lagway said, hey, and by the way, and I'm going to get to Jade Rashad in a minute. People are thinking, what about Rashad? I'll get to that in a minute. But for now, DJ Lagway. It would be hard for me to be as big a Lagway fan as I wanted to be, wouldn't it?
I think it would, yeah. I mean, look, and I think that's why everybody has their eyes on Knoxville, Tennessee. Because if a Tennessee quarterback and Nico gets away with this and he gets more money for holding out, then what's to stop any other quarterback from going to their school and saying, well, wait a minute, Tennessee renegotiated with their guy. I want to have a sit-down conversation with you about what you're paying me right now. There are a lot of eyes on what's going on in Knoxville.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I just can't. I mean, and this isn't an anti-Tennessee comment. You could be saying about anybody. It just happened to them. Hacker, I don't think Nico's going to be welcomed back with open arms. Okay, let's say it takes a couple more days. They get this done right at the end of spring practice, and he agrees to the deal. First of all, he just got. Let's say instead of making $2.5 million this year, he makes $4 million, right? We know what that means? That means that slot receiver who was hoping to get $300,000 now might get $75,000.
Yeah.
That rush end, the second round draft pick, the edge who was going to get $800,000 now might get $400,000 because somewhere that extra $1 million had to go to Nico. You only have so much to spend. How is he affected in the locker room then? I mean, how is he received in the locker room then? And I got another one for you. So then he plays badly in game 1.
Right.
Then what?
Well, apparently Pete Thamel was talking about this earlier. Tennessee, this came as a surprise to the coaching staff.
Oh, well,
they knew there were ongoing conversations. Nico's camp had reached out, said, hey, we want to talk about NIL. In Tennessee, they were having ongoing conversations, and Pete Thamel had this a few hours ago. The coaches were surprised, if not stunned, that he didn't show up at practice today. So what does that tell you when your starting quarterback, just ups and says, well, I'm not coming to practice? How are the teammates going to respond? How's the coaching staff going to respond? It could get ugly in Knoxville.
Do you like it? Are we getting it right? What do you think? I haven't asked you that before. Again, we haven't done as much radio together as we did once upon a time. What do you think?
I mean, my father was a huge college football fan. If he would see the game today, and God rest his soul, he died in the 90s. If he would see the game today, he wouldn't recognize it. 12-team playoff, conference shifts, the realignment, the NIL, the transfer portal, essentially free agency. I love college football so much that I've learned to adapt and be okay with the changes. But I know there's a lot of people that aren't. Like my stepdad is kind of off-put by a lot of this. It's one thing to have NIL, but it's essentially free agency now. When you can go from one school to the next school to the next school, and you can legitimately play at 4 schools in 4 years, at that point it becomes a problem, I think, and it needs to be regulated in some regard.
Yeah, it's just crazy that all of a sudden you have a Tennessee football, and again, he could be at any school. You have a football player that suddenly might not play for his team because he's not making enough money. I'm telling you, I think it's a crazy story. It's the story that everyone's talking about in college football right now, and I don't know how that thing's going to end.
I mean, you've been a college football guy for decades. Do you like it?
I've learned to accept where the world is, okay? I don't like the changes because I love football the way it was. And so there's a lot about what we do now I don't like. Having said that, I think players got screwed over the years. Yeah, they got an education. Education matters. Don't ever think an education doesn't matter. But it didn't seem right that schools made so much money and players didn't get any of it. I didn't like that. I remember the Chris Webber thing too. So I'm torn a little bit, Hack. I love college football. I don't like all the changes in it. But I think players, these really good players are why these teams won these championships, and they had nothing to show for it while the coaches made all this money and the school made all this money. So to that end, I'm okay with players making money. I always thought players should get paid. I wasn't sure how to do it. So and if NIL is the best way to do it, I don't mind that. I mind what it just led to with this Tennessee situation. I that's what I mind. I mind where it went now. And so that part of it I don't like. Look, I can go on and on about the fact that I don't like conference expansion and I don't like the lack of divisions. And I loved the SEC having its 14 teams and Florida and Tennessee and Georgia, one of them winning the East and always having divisions. I like that better. But I understand the world changes. I don't like what's happening here in this Tennessee situation. I don't like it at all.
There's some talk about a 2-year contract, right? If you transfer, so you don't go to 3 schools in 3 years or 4 schools in 4 years, you can transfer, but it's a 2-year obligation to the next school you go to. See, I would like something to be regulated like that. If you want to transfer, that's fine. But when you transfer from school A to school B, you have to be at school B then a minimum of 2 years. What I don't like is guys going to the highest college bidder every single offseason.
And that's kind of where we're going to be. The other thing, too, is with college athletics now, where we are with it, is it's hard as heck to identify a team or a player because they're all different.
It's killed college basketball.
Yeah, correct. Now, pro sports have been that way for the longest time. The Tampa Bay Rays. You're a Rays fan. The 7 days of the year you're a baseball fan.
Absolutely.
You're a Rays fan. But one of the reasons the Rays don't draw at all. But one of the reasons they don't draw at all is the minute you get used to a player, he's gone.
Yeah.
So you can't really have a favorite player. I guess David Price and Evan Longoria were there a little bit longer than others, but for the most part, you can't have a favorite player.
No.
And so it's harder in college. So we'll continue. We'll see if we can get some people to kind of help us clear some of this up. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens in Knoxville, Tennessee. We'll stay on the story when we can tell you more about it and continue to track it down. Let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about spring football in Gainesville. Tomorrow is the spring game. It's not on TV anywhere. Did you know that? It's not even streaming.
Which that's ludicrous to me.
And we'll talk about it after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now, a Masters update on 1010XL, brought to you by TopDressing.com and St. John's Middle School Athletic Association.
From the Augusta National Golf Club, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Masters. I'm Ted Emmerich. Bernhard Langer got choked up this week just talking about this being his 41st and final Masters. One might have assumed his final competitive round would be today. Not so fast.
From the speckled shadows 20 feet behind the hole here at number 12, putting down the hill on his way on a good line, and he's got it. Bernhard Langer back to even par on a Friday afternoon, trying to hold the sun back up in the sky just one more time. This is his final Masters, and he's not ready for it to be over with.
John McGinnis, the call on Sirius XM. Langer, twice a Masters champion. The German great served schnitzel, sauerkraut, and black forest cake at his champions dinner 40 years ago. And Langer's serving up another masterclass round today. 2 under through 14, even par for the tournament. He's safely inside the cut line right now. And at 67, Langer would become the oldest player to make the cut at the Masters. You're listening to coverage of the 2025 Masters on Westwood One.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription. And I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it, because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Justin Rose holds the lead in the second round of the 89th Masters. Let's check that leaderboard. Sponsored by Prevagen. Prevagen, made for your brain. Rose with a 1 under 71. He is 8 under par. Bryson DeChambeau 1 back at 7 under. DeChambeau follows a 69 with a 68 today. It's the first time DeChambeau has had multiple rounds under 70 at the same Masters, and he goes back-to-back to begin this tournament. Rory McIlroy is right back in it after a 6 under 66, 6 under for the week now, and 2 back, along with Tyrrell Hatton, who closes his first 9 with 3 consecutive birdies. So Hatton at -6. Scotty Scheffler gives a shot back at number 10. He is 5 under par and now 3 back, along with Matt McCarty, Shane Lowry, and Corey Connors. From Augusta, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Showtime is now an official PSA grading dealer 2 days per week, Wednesday and Sunday. You can bring your raw cards into Showtime to submit for PSA. Seth can review your cards and mail them off same week. It's Showtime, Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your costs and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Okay, sports fans, Hicken here. Let's talk skin. I and Beaches Dermatology are reminding you all to wear your sunscreen. Spring is here, and that means more time outside. Grabbing the clubs for your tee time? Bring the screen. Heading out on the boat? Bring the screen. Headed to the beach? Definitely bring the sunscreen. All in all, make sure sunscreen is included in your outdoor activities. If you have any concerns now, give Beaches Dermatology a call. I've been seeing them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Call today online at beachesdermatology.com.
Looking for an engagement ring in Jacksonville? Here's a pop quiz. Which Jacksonville jeweler cuts out the middleman and guarantees the lowest price on any diamond? I'm thinking it's... No, it's Beard's Diamonds. Question 2. Which jeweler in the town center has thousands of designer engagement rings and a multi-million-dollar diamond inventory? I'm going to say... No, it's Beard's Diamonds. Question 3. Which jeweler in Jacksonville offers an unbiased diamond education, a lifetime upgrade, and free maintenance for life? How about Dude, you should have learned by now it's Beard's Diamonds. Final question. Which jewelry store in Jacksonville hasn't been sold a few times and is currently not owned by a national conglomerate? Beard's Diamonds? Ding, ding, ding. Now you're getting it. Beard's Diamonds guarantees a better selection, an unbeatable price, superior warranties with no corporate rule books, no commission salespeople, and no chain store atmosphere. Beard's Diamonds, Jacksonville's jeweler. St. John's Town Center.
Plumbing problem? AC not blowing cool? Septic tank backing up? No need to call 3 different companies. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. At Duck Duck Rooter, we do it all. Plumbing, septic, and air conditioning with expert technicians in each department. One company, one call, one easy bill. No hassle, no runaround, just fast professional service from highly skilled techs who know their stuff. Need help? Call 904-862-6769 today and let Duck Duck Rooter handle it all. DuckDuckRooter.com.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, every day feels like the weekend. Fresh, never frozen chicken wings, tossed in over 30 bold flavors, paired with ice-cold beer and handcrafted cocktails. All in a laid-back, beachy atmosphere. And with every game on the big screens, it's the ultimate escape. And you're home for sports, too. Great food, cold drinks, and all the games. That's Hurricane Grill and Wings. Escape the ordinary and find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser share the huddle with Freddie T. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Fred Taylor, he's a candidate to go the distance.
On 1010XL.
ET here, and it's time for the Taste of Golf at TPC Sawgrass, April 23rd. Join me for fine cuisine from chefs from the top golf clubs in our area. Craft cocktails, games, and unique auction items will be present. This is one of the most impactful charitable events in our area. Come network with a sophisticated audience who's passionate about golf and its values, while impacting the youth in our community. All proceeds benefit First Tee, North Florida. For tickets, go to tasteofgolf.com. Come on, somebody.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
For Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
And we sure appreciate our friends from Big Chief Tire. 5 locations here on the First Coast. Orange Park, the north side, 2 on the west side, and the south side. Brakes, alignments, oil changes, you name it. And, of course, those great tires. But best of all, the great people you deal with. Over 60 years, you can really trust the Parman family and all my friends at Big Chief. That's the only place I take my car to get it fixed. I promise you, and it should be the only place you take yours. I want to get to the Florida Spring Game. By the way, Spring Game not on TV anywhere, but you will hear it right here on the radio station on 1010XL AM. So you can follow Sean Kelly on the call, and you get to follow the entire thing, including the celebration. So that'll be very cool. So you can follow the Spring Game. You just can't watch it. I'm sure they'll make highlights available at some point, but they're not streaming it live. I got a thought or two about that. I'll get to it in a minute. But you can hear it right here on the radio station. You discovered something about Nico's before we get to Florida Spring. Nico's situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things about Nico and Tennessee. Again, apparently the reports are coming out that he was making between $2.2 and $2.5 million. His camp reached out to Tennessee, like you said, wanted to up that to $4 million.
Correct.
And Tennessee, the quote here is Tennessee's not going to blink at that.
According to whom?
It's Pete Thamel had one, and Pete Nakos from On3. He's their transfer portal and their business reporter. So
I'm trying to reach out to my buddy Jimmy Himes, who knows it very well, and see if Jimmy can kind of shed some light on this. We'll see if I can hear back from him. So we'll see.
And again, a lot of rules about the transfers. People are saying, well, can Nico just say, well, the heck with this, I'm out of here, I'm going somewhere else? Short answer is yes, with this caveat. In the spring portal for football, you can leave. You just can't go within the conference, apparently, which I did not know that.
I didn't either.
So Nico can go somewhere else, but since it's the spring portal, it would have to be outside the Southeastern Conference.
Interesting. So, and of course, he's from the West Coast. So my guess is this is just a lot of bluffing. My guess is Nico doesn't want to go change schools in the middle of spring practice where he would miss spring practice. It's not like he's this established veteran that has been good everywhere he's been or had great years. He's been just okay. So I doubt very seriously that he wants to leave. And if the word is correct, the phrase that you said, Tennessee's not blinking, well, then that they feel that way too. They feel like, look, this kid ain't going anywhere else. He's bluffing. His camp is bluffing. And by the way, one of the things that drives these coaches and teams crazy on this stuff is the representatives, whether it's an agent, a coach, a parent. It drives them crazy. I can't tell you how many times I've heard the kid didn't want to leave. I even heard that, and it may not have been true. So I don't want to say this is absolutely true because I don't know it. But what I heard from people close to the situation is that Jack Pyburn didn't want to leave, that the parent had some interest in him getting a better deal, and not having, I say better deal, not being substituted so much and not being in a rotation, playing all the time. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. In fairness to the Pyron family, I don't want to act like I heard definitive information, but I did hear from some people that the kid was okay staying at Florida and that the family and members of the family pushed him to.
I would say what you've heard is accurate.
So you know.
I know people within circles of that situation, and the issue was being subbed out on third down.
Yeah.
The issue was not being the full-time defensive end.
And we all know that was the issue.
Yeah, that was the big
part's
issue.
not rumor. We all know that's the issue. But you heard the same thing I did. That Jack could have lived with that, but that the family didn't want to.
That's what I heard.
Members of the family. I heard the same thing. So, but anyway, back to Nico. It'll be interesting to see the way it plays out. I think he's bluffing, and I think he's going to be the Tennessee quarterback, whether he gets this formula or not. Agree or disagree?
I would say at this point I probably agree, although...
And I think they know that too.
Yeah, but this has picked up legs in the last couple of hours.
Well, he missed practice.
It'll be very interesting. Talk to me on Monday or Tuesday, and we'll see what the situation is.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I would tend to agree with you.
Florida spring game again tomorrow. You can hear it right here on 10:10 a.m. You cannot watch it. By the way, I think they should stream the game.
Of course.
The game should be on TV. You do the game for your fans. You have fans all over the Southeast. You have fans who, other than Jacksonville and Gainesville, you probably can't, unless it's on the Gator Network everywhere else too. But not everywhere you can hear the games. You're not hearing the game, and the Gator fans all over the country. You should be able to watch the game. I think it's overreacting. A lot of teams aren't even having them. The Gators aren't going to show theirs on TV for fear that they're going to get poached. Well, the bottom line is if you got good players and you're paying them right, and you're taking good care of them, they're not going to get poached anyway. So I'm very surprised that that's where this thing landed.
In the coaching community, with the amount of people that talk and the amount of knowledge that's out there and tape that's out there, I find it really hard to believe that coaches are going to watch a 2-hour spring game on the SEC Network Plus app and say, you know what, I want to go get that guy. If they want to go get somebody, they're going to go get somebody regardless of what happens in a 2-hour spring game. I agree for the fan base. You should do it. Florida's not the only one. There's like 8 or 9 SEC spring games tomorrow. Not one of them is on TV or being streamed. In fact, the only SEC game I believe that's on TV at all is Texas A&M next weekend. I think it's on like ESPNU, but that's the only one of the 16 that's on TV.
Yeah, that is crazy for me that that they feel that way. So anyway, more on the Tennessee situation in a second, but Florida is having a spring game. It'll be on the radio. What would if are you going, by the way?
I am not.
I'm not going either. But if you were going, what would you watch?
I think clearly the wide receiver room is the one thing I want to look at. I don't think we're going to see a lot of the injured guys coming back, but I want to see the young guys. I want to see Dallas Wilson. I want to see Nashawn Montgomery. I want to see Vernell Brown. Those are the 3 all-world wide receivers. Sturdivant, the transfer from UCLA, I'm curious about him. I doubt we'll see Trey Wilson, but certainly that wide receiver room is an interesting one. You're not going to be able to tell much from the offensive line, but I love the fact that 4/5 of the Gators starting offensive line is back from last year, including Jake Slaughter and Austin Barber. And then they got some pieces on defense. Look, you got to replace TJ Searcy. You got to replace Jack Pyburn. You got to replace Cam Jackson. You got to replace Shamar James, Desmond Watson. How does that front 7 look of the Gator defense? I'll be curious to watch that as well.
Yeah, I think for me, if I was going to this game, I think number one, I'd like to watch the quarterback play. If it's not Lagway, I think I want to see what the other guys look like. I want to watch those outstanding running backs, who I think are going to be fantastic. I want to see if they run the ball defensively. I guess I want to see the overall athleticism because you can see that on great teams.
Yeah, Jaden Baugh is the guy that gets all the acclaim, but Jackson had a good year last year. Obviously, there's a couple of local guys down there. Trayon Webb, how is he looking? So, yeah, I like that running back room a lot. Look, this Gator team on paper, and it should be this way, Frank, it's Billy Napier's best team in 4 years, at least on paper, and it should be after 4 years. But clearly, to me, in this spring, set that we're in, this is the best roster Billy Napier has had during his time in Gainesville.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any question about that. I think they've got a very good team. They've got the best offensive line they've ever had. They've had under him, and I think a really good one. Okay, the receivers are new in that they haven't played, but for Florida, some of them haven't. But it looks like it's a talented group. Trey Wilson comes back. Aiden Mizell's played a little bit. Sturdivant comes in from UCLA. The 3 freshmen they really like. So that group's good. The question for me is how good will they be on defense? But I mean, Pup Howard is a really good player. I think Miles Graham's their best linebacker.
Yeah.
Aaron Childs is a good player. Their edges, even though they lost T.J. Searcy and Pyburn, their edges are good, man. I mean, Gums is really good. Sapp is really good. Cameron James is really good. I mean, McCray is really good.
I want to see the jump I hope L.J. McCray makes from year 1 to year 2.
I worry about the defensive tackles, and I don't know how much you can tell in a spring game, and I worry about the defense. That's the one position, that I don't know as much about, But I think watching some of those guys would be very interesting. By the way, my friend Jimmy Himes is going to join us.
Oh.
Everyone in Jacksonville knows Jimmy Himes. So,
nice.
So Jimmy's going to come on at about 5:20. I'm going to ask him point blank: is this kid gone? Because now there's talk that people think that the family's greedy. And the Tennessee may say, screw this.
Oof.
So we'll see. And again, I don't know what Jimmy thinks about that. So Jimmy Himes today at about 5:20 to kind of clear some of this up, which will be very interesting. I look forward to doing that. Back to Florida for a second. I will say again, Matt Hays wrote a terrific story on the DJ Lagway situation. Matt heard different stuff than I heard. Matt heard that there's 2 injuries. Did you read his story on USA Today?
Yes, I did.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
He said he heard that there's a shoulder that at some point needs surgery, and that there's a lower body injury and he's dealing with both of them. I had heard that the shoulder's fine and that he's not going to have any problems with the shoulder, but that there was a procedure in the lower body, and that's what kept him out.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel like that's something that it's a core thing that they think he'll be fine in the summer, which that usually is the way it goes. So if I'm right, then there's no problem. If Matt's correct, and he's very connected, and if Matt's correct that it's both a lower body core thing and a shoulder, and the shoulder could be a problem, then we're not going to know until the fall whether they've got DJ Lagway, which is a gigantic – it would always be a gigantic thing because he might be a really good player. But that's going to have people nervous until they run out of the tunnel game 1.
Well, the lack of transparency about the whole situation to me is bad. I mean, you look here in Jacksonville as a prime example. William Cohen came out on, Tuesday or Wednesday when he met the media, and he said, all right, Trevor's going to be on a pitch count. There's, we think he's going to be back by training camp, but we're going to take it easy with him with the shoulder. Trevor was very open and honest about the shoulder. So there's no speculation. We know exactly what's going on with Trevor Lawrence this offseason in Jacksonville because the Jaguars came out and they said basically what exactly is happening. You did not get that in Gainesville for the last 3.5 months. And again, I know we talked about this earlier in the week. Far be it for me to criticize, and I'm not a medically trained person here, but they last played a football game on December 20th.
Right.
Why is there even any talk about surgery on April 11th?
Yeah, and it's in terms of the shoulder.
Right.
Yeah, because I think if there was a core surgery, my guess is it's already happened, and he's in the recovery process.
Yeah.
And will probably be fine in the summer. But a shoulder surgery, if there's going to be one, has not happened. And according
3.5 months, man.
Well, according to Matt's story, this is something that happened in high school, and he's played through it. And so if that's the case, if it happened in high school and he's played through it, then obviously they didn't think it would be a hindrance. Again, I'm hearing something different than he's hearing. I'm hearing that the shoulder's fine. He's been held out because of a core injury that they don't want to talk about. Matt's hearing something totally different, so we'll see where it winds up. The other part about it is this, and this is, I could get expelled from Gator Nation for saying this, but the reality is he threw 12 touchdowns and 9 picks last year. So I think he's going to be very good, and I think that jump from year 1 to year 2 is so significant, and I think he's going to be a fantastic player, probably generational as many suggest. But he does have to take that next step. Again, Graham Mertz in 2 years threw 26 touchdowns and 5 picks. He's already thrown 4 more interceptions than Graham Mertz threw in his 2 years there and far fewer touchdowns. Now, again, in fairness, he pushes the ball down the field, which Mertz did not do very well. Matt Mertz should have taken more chances down the field than he took. I understand. But I want to see – that's why I thought DJ Lagway having a great spring, firing it all over the place, being ready to light up defenses with his arm was going to be a big part of all this. And so it's a story worth following at the very least.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. And look, I think the concern is without DJ Lagway, what do you have? You got basically nothing, and the season would be a wash at that point.
It sure feels that way. Let's talk some NFL after the break. Pete Prisco joins us. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now, A Masters Update on 1010XL, brought to you by TopDressing.com and St. John's Middle School Athletic Association.
From the Augusta National Golf Club, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Masters. I'm Ted Emmerich. Major champions are all over the leaderboard here in the second round. One of the exceptions hails from north of the border.
Corey Connors is on the par 5 13th and just got a perfect read from Brian Harmon, who just made birdie. This is just inside of 20 feet, ball back and through on its way, breaking to the right and needs to go a little more. It did. Corey Connors now 6 under par, just 2 back of Justin Rose.
Amelia Duran the call on Sirius XM. Connors a 2-time winner on the PGA Tour. He is tied for third. He's got 4 holes to go today. It's Justin Rose at 8 under, Bryson DeChambeau at 7 under, Connors, Rory McIlroy, and Tyrrell Hatton at 6 under par, 2 back. You're listening to coverage of the 2025 Masters on Westwood One.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Former U.S. Open champion and Olympic gold medalist Justin Rose remains in the lead in the second round at the 89th Masters. He is 8 under par after a 1 under 71. He admitted he played conservatively down the stretch, especially on the 2 par 5s on the second 9 at 13 and 15. Both of those holes were playing into the wind when Rose was on the course, and that wind has really picked up now for the afternoon wave. Bryson DeChambeau in the clubhouse at 7 under, 1 back of Rose. Rory McIlroy 6 under 66. He found his form on the second 9 today. Birdies at 10, 11, and 15, plus an eagle at 13. So McIlroy just 2 back, along with Corey Connors and Tyrrell Hatton. At 5 under, Matt McCarty, Shane Lowry, and Jason Day. Scotty Scheffler 4 under, 4 back. He went the first 23 holes this week without a bogey. Now he's got 3 in the last 5 holes, including back-to-back bogeys at 10 and 11. Scheffler even today. Bernhard Langer puts a ball in the water at 15, made double bogey. He's right on the cut line at +2. From Augusta, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Jackson.
Imagine enjoying the beautiful days of summer in North Florida, relaxing in your enclosed patio, free from bugs and debris. I'm Josh Molina, owner of River City Screens. We are your trusted local screen experts. We pride ourselves in our craftsmanship and our relationships, because with Florida's unpredictable weather, you'll want someone dependable and reliable to show up for you every time. New construction or repairs, call River City Screens, 904-923-3544.
License number SCC 131153483.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight? But it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
If the green jacket fits,
Scheffler outshines them all at Augusta.
listen for 1010XL Masters updates, covered by TopDressing.com and St. John's Middle School Athletic Association.
The Jacksonville Icemen have punched their ticket to the Kelly Cup playoffs in April. But first, the Icemen have an action-packed weekend with the Savannah Ghost Pirates. Friday and Saturday night at 7. Then it's the Orlando Solar Bears. Sunday at 3. All games at 5-Star Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Iceman Hockey is #Frozen Frenzy.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Your home is your sanctuary, where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a classic wood fence for privacy, sturdy aluminum to protect your pets, or a modern vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Charles.
6.
Oh, so close. Betty for the steal.
What about the bank that helps you reach your financial goals? Synovus.
Let's see, judges. Yes, looks like we have a winner.
That's a number?
Sorry, Charlie. Remember, a solid financial future doesn't happen by chance. Talk with Synovus about your potential today. Brought to you by Synovus Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. The number was 4.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. The Jaguars' defense last year was rather pitiful, ranking 31st in the NFL in total defense, 32nd in pass defense, and 25th in rushing defense. With the NFL draft coming up, the Jaguars have a great chance to improve their interior on defense, as Chris Sims has his eyes peeled on a particular prospect he believes can help transform a new age Jaguars defense.
I think that's why you continually see there are a lot of people in mock drafts put Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan, there. This is a team that's got 2 pretty good edge rushers, but was kind of pitiful up the middle throughout the year last year. They don't really have a guy in the middle there that you look at to go, ooh, yeah, it's a problem. I think D tackle is the most pressing need on their football team.
It's 79 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
All right, head to Showtime. Guess what? If you go this week, tomorrow, you get a chance to meet that terrific linebacker, Ventrell Miller. The former Gator and Jaguar, I think, will be starting inside linebacker this year, one of the two. He'll be signing autographs at Showtime tomorrow from 5:30 to 7:30. And, of course, they've got all the cards and collectibles you can imagine right there on Phillips Highway at the end of Shad Road. Ventrell Miller signing tomorrow at Showtime, 5:30 to 7:30. Get in there and get those autographs. Pete Prisco joins us. Hey, Pete, how are you, buddy?
Not as good as you guys are. Happy Gator fans.
Yeah, I was going to say, Pete, have you heard my team won the national championship? I don't know if you heard that or not, Pete.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they won it or Houston choked it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a little bit of both.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
You'll take it? Oh, hell yeah. And think about that. 3 in the last, 15, 20 years? Is that what it is now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, to become a basketball school, Frank.
I said this earlier, joking aside, what really is incredible that they hired this guy, Todd Golden, that nobody knew from San Francisco. They've got no top 100 recruits. He shows up with all these transfers from Belmont and FAU and Marshall and all these and Iona, and you look up and they're the national champions. Now, part of that's because the great players are all in the NBA now. I get that. But, Pete, honestly, you follow basketball as closely as anybody. It's pretty bizarre that you look up and the dang Gators are the national champions.
Yeah, and the weird thing about it is you look at it, they won it, and they might not have staying power considering what's going on in college basketball these days. So, but look, you won another one. I mean, the guy did a great job coaching that team. He really did, and kudos to the Gators. They won it.
No question. No, you're exactly right. Let's get to some NFL talk. Frank Frangie with Hacker filling in for Hays. Pete Prisco with us. It is brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Let me start with Aaron Rodgers again. I guess I always do. Is he retiring? What's he doing? It doesn't look like it's Pittsburgh now. What's he going to do?
I still think Pittsburgh's in play.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I still think they're in play, but there's not a lot of options for him. The chairs are all getting filled up.
Right.
I mean, you look at it. I mean, what's he going to do? Where can he play? And so, it's a situation where Rodgers likes having his name in the news. I mean, there's no question about that. He likes staying relevant. So I still think there's a possibility Pittsburgh's in play there. I really do. I know, some people say, no, we're going to wait till after the draft and see what happens. But I think there's a possibility. By the way, now there's news that Derek Carr might not play this year.
Saw that.
But I can't imagine he would go into that mess. I just can't imagine that.
Well, you talk about chairs that are in play, Pete. Cleveland is a chair that's in play, I think. They just signed Joe Flacco. They got Kenny Pickett. They have that number 2 pick. We're obviously very interested in what they're going to do, picking above Jacksonville. But it does not appear Shedeur Sanders is in the cards for them, correct?
Correct. And talking to Browns people at the league meetings, I don't think he's in play. I don't think they love the quarterback class all that much. I do think a guy that could be in play in the second round is Kyle McCord. And he's a guy, most draft nicks aren't as high on Kyle McCord as the people in the league are. And they should be, because he's really good. And he led the country in passing yards last year at Syracuse, threw the ball around, had led the country in deep passes completed down the field. Now, he's not a great athlete, but he can move around well enough. He's a tough kid. He stands in the pocket. And, oh, by the way, he went to the same high school as Kevin Stefanski in Philadelphia.
Oh, how about that? Hey, back to the draft for a second. Pete, do you get the higher end of the first and top of the draft? Do you get the sense that with now Russell Wilson and Jameis there, that the Giants aren't in play for Shedeur either? What happens there, in your opinion?
I think it goes exactly the way the Jaguars don't want it to go. I think it goes Cam Ward 1. I think it goes Travis Hunter 2 or Abdul Carter, and whichever one doesn't go there goes number 3.
Okay.
And then number 4, what happens what do they do? That's the question there. And then, if it's Will Campbell or whoever, they could take Mason Graham too. But you look at it, and it's going to go exactly the way the Jaguars don't want it to go.
In other words, you don't think Sanders is going in the top 5. I guess that's the question.
I don't. And if you're the Giants, what do you? I don't think they believe in Sanders. I think the scouting and talking to people around the league, they're not as high on Sanders as everybody else is. And so, do you force the quarterback pick? And the answer to that is no. And so I think they'll take one of the two best players in the draft. The three best players in the draft, by the way, are Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and Ashton Genty. Those are the three best players in the draft. Now, position value is a running back, but he's the third best player in the draft in terms of what he can do on the field.
Pete, I don't know if Mason Graham is getting fitted for a Jaguar uniform already, but basically every mock draft 2 weeks out, if the Jaguars stay at 5 and if Mason Graham is there, has that as a marriage between player and team. Would you be stunned if Graham is there at 5, the Jaguars pick at 5, and Mason Graham is not a Jaguar?
No, I would not. I think they have options. I think their options in that scenario would be take the running back. Option B would be, Graham's in play. Those are the two. And then 3 is the kid from Georgia who can rush the passer and play off-the-ball linebacker. I think those are the 3 options for him if they're stuck in that spot. So and they'd have to have it. I mean, me personally, I'd probably lean to the big guy. But there are things on his tape that are a little concerning to me. He's not a big guy. He's not an overpowering guy for a defensive lineman. He looks small. And he's on the ground a lot, and so you worry about that a little bit. So me personally, if I'm stuck beside the decision between Genty and Graham, would I probably go Graham? Yeah, because I think if you hit it, it's going to be a 10-year pick. If you hit the running back, the best case scenario is probably 6 years. So I think that has something to do with it. But I think those are going to be their options. I think if they can't trade out of that spot.
So you think there's a chance they take a running back, and that's not just any running back. Ashton Genty's a terrific back. But you think there's a chance the Jaguars would draft a running back there?
I think there is a chance, but again, when you look at it, if you sit there and you say running back, the value of that position isn't there anymore. But you could see where you're stuck, and if you don't believe in the defensive tackle, and you don't believe in the kid from Georgia, and you don't believe in Will Campbell the way you should, then you get it because you're getting the third best player in the draft. I mean, he is no doubt the best running back in the class. And it's a deep class. Don't get me wrong. If you didn't pick the running back and came back and got one in the second or third round, if you wanted to do that, you could do that and get a good player. But they're not him. He is truly a special running back. And you know me, how I feel about running back. If I'm stuck in that position, I'm probably not drafting him. I'm probably taking the big guy and taking my chances. But I do think that that's a possibility. And look, you want to do everything you can to help Trevor Lawrence, don't you? And the best thing to do is, help get the running game going.
Pete, you mentioned Jalen Walker a couple of times from Georgia. I've had a lot of draft analysts on, man. Some guys love him. Some guys are very lukewarm on him. Somebody gave me an Isaiah Simmons comparison with him, which is scary in the top 5. I mean, what do you think of Jalen Walker?
I think he's better than Isaiah Simmons. I think he's more physical than Isaiah Simmons. I think you could do a lot of things with him. I don't know how you sell that, though, if you say, okay, I can take an off-the-ball linebacker if he's going to come and rush on third down. That's hard sell when you have all those linebackers. And again, it wasn't this regime. It was a different regime, but they loaded up on all those linebackers. Now, Lloyd's not getting his fifth-year option picked up, so he's out the door. Aluakon's getting up in the age, and he costs a lot of money. And what do you have in Ventrell Miller? You got a good, run stuffer. Can he cover the pass? And Muma hasn't come close to living up to the hype. So you can evaluate it and say, you know what? That might not be a bad pick. You can rush the passer with him on third down because I think he can do that. You can move, Trayvon Walker inside on those passing downs. I think that's a possibility if you're stuck. He's by the way, he might be the 4th best player in the draft. If you're really analyzing player based on what they can do, he might be the 4th best player.
Final thing here, Pete. We won't keep you long today because we got a big pre-draft show next week. Final thing here. You've now, Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, Tony Baselli been in place for a while. The vibe and the buzz is very good around here. I'm very excited. I've gotten to know James and Liam a little bit now in these last couple of months, and obviously we all know Bo. I like where they are. I think that alignment is real. I think the connectivity is. I like what they did in free agency because they got to get more physical. I think they will. What's the buzz around the league, if any at all, about the, once again, new-look Jaguars and new-look Jaguar administration?
Very positive. Very, and I was at the league meeting for 3 days. Very positive. Talking to a lot of the media around the league, but not just them. Talking to other people in the league. Very positive. Look, Tony has great respect around the NFL. You know that.
Yep.
And I think he's embraced the job as well as you can ever imagine. I mean, he's doing everything he possibly can. He's involved in it from every angle, and I think he loves it. I mean, he's living it right now. And I met, Gladstone at the meetings. I hadn't met him. I talked to him for a while. Very impressive guy.
Yep.
And then Liam Cohen. I mean, look, Liam has all that energy. He's the energy guy. I mean, he's going to bring, he wants to coach football. That's what he wants to do. And I think he's going to be good at it. So I think, positive. It's really a good feel around the league. And I actually talked to Shad Khan about it at the league meetings. And I said, this has a feel of something that's going to work, and I think a lot of that has to do with them bringing Tony into the organization and making him a full-time guy. I think there's a good mix there. He understands it. I told him the other day, you saw that the video they put out. That was outstanding. Pat Cavanaugh and that crew did a great job.
Yep.
I said, Tony, you don't sound like the guy who used to mispronounce pork coats 14,000 times on our show. I mean, he sounds so much more polished and professional, and I think that they're off to a really good start.
I do too, Pete. I think that assessment is dead on, and I think that's the buzz. It certainly is around here. Next week, we'll preview the draft. We'll be 6 days out. Pete Prisco checking in from CBSSports.com. Thanks, Pete. Talk to you next week, buddy.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, Pete Prisco checking in. It's always brought to you by Showtime Sports Cars and Collectibles. One more time, Ventrell Miller will be signing autographs at Showtime on Phillips Highway at the end of Shad Road tomorrow from 5:30 to 7:30. Don't miss out on the starting Jaguars linebacker, Ventrell Miller, the former Gator. He'll be there tomorrow night. We'll take a break. I want to get Jimmy Himes in here, my buddy from Knoxville, Tennessee. Retired, but not really. Still doing an awful lot of media stuff. What's going to happen with Nico, the quarterback? That's next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Jacksonville's home for Florida Gators baseball.
The weekend series with Missouri continues tonight at 6:30 and Saturday at 5 on 1010 AM.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Lots of jewelry stores in the town center, but only one is locally owned, Beard's Diamonds.
We're the only local jewelry store at the town center.
That's Jacksonville's John Lupo, owner of Beard's for over 4 decades.
We're entrenched in Jacksonville, Florida.
In a sea of mega chain jewelers, John says it's easy to stand out because he's not handcuffed by a corporate handbook.
I am not beholden to a corporate structure, so we've got flexibility to do whatever we can and want, and we do.
And that includes lowering prices to undercut them every day.
Quality for quality, color for color, everything the same. We should be able to beat them hands down by minimum 20%. We go overseas ourselves. We know exactly what we're buying. This isn't getting marked up in a corporate structure. We will beat anybody's price anywhere.
So before you buy anything at one of those chains, get a second opinion at locally owned Beard's Diamonds. No corporate atmosphere, no corporate rules, no corporate high markups.
We want you to come shop us and you'll see a lot better price here.
Beard's Diamonds.
Everybody gets a good deal at Beard's.
Frank Frangie here. Available now is the all-new Silverado EV. Designed to go the distance, the Silverado EV boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor. Ask about low-rate financing and $7,500 instant cash savings on EVs. Nimnik always will give you top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $3,000 in trade assistance. So head to Nimnik today. Who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnik. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione Law.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. At South State, they believe strong relationships build strong businesses. That's why they take the time to understand your goals, challenges, and vision so they can provide solutions tailored to your needs, like they've done for me for years. South State has always been there for our business and our charity. With a team you can trust and a commitment to personalized service, South State Bank is here to be more than your bank. They're your partner in business. Visit SouthStateBank.com. South State Bank, member FDIC.
Scholar athletes don't just score on the field. They also excel in the classroom.
That's why 1010XL salutes the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Wednesdays on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234.
Frank Frangie here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue for over 75 years. And now, catch this. Bono's new limited time offer features an Atlantic fried cod platter with 2 pieces of mouth-watering fried cod and 1 southern side for $15.49, or a fried cod sandwich with 1 southern side for $12.99. You can't beat that deal. And after 1 bite, you'll be hooked. So you better hurry in. The fried cod platter right now at Bono's. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Get a healthy start in 2025. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to encourage you to get healthy and stay healthy this year. They have a dedicated team who are committed to providing quality care. The goal is to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Visit duval.floridahealth.gov to learn more about their health programs and services. That's duval.floridahealth.gov.
A chipped windshield can turn into a big problem fast. Lauren Brooks here. Trust Novus Glass of Jacksonville for expert repair and replacement. Call 904-289-2905 for Novus Glass in Orange Park. 904-289-2905.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
All right, we're glad you're with us. Frank Frangie with you. My old buddy Jimmy Himes checking in now, who says he's retired, but he's not really retired. He does more media than anybody I know that's retired. Joins us now from Knoxville. Jimmy, how are you, man? Good to talk to you. How you been?
Oh, Frank, I'm doing fine. I do a little bit of media stuff. I don't get after it like I used to, but God, there's always something going on in Tennessee. Always.
Yeah, and I know there is. So thank you for spending a few minutes here. We appreciate that. All right, obviously this has now become a national college football story. Nico Iamaleava, I hope I'm even saying it right. But
Iamaleava.
So good. I wasn't even close. I'll go with Nico. But he didn't come to practice. We don't have college football holdouts. All of a sudden, there's a holdout, which is a major story. We all know what's being reported. He was making 2 and change. He wants 4. Jimmy, what's happening here? How's this thing going to play out? And take us behind the scenes a bit.
Well, there's what I know and there's what I think I know. So I'm going to combine the two.
Okay.
So here's the deal from what I was told, started yesterday, that there was negotiation, and I'm told it's led by his father, who was negotiating, trying to get his son more money. Now, he wants, supposedly, the $4 million, which supposedly what Carson Beck is getting to go to Miami and what the Tulane quarterback's getting to go to Duke. So they want what those guys were making. That was one argument. The other part of the story I've heard was that now they didn't want more money. They wanted to make sure that Tennessee was going to give him another really good receiver, another good offensive lineman. Okay, I'm not really buying that. I think it's about money. It usually is about money, isn't it?
Yeah.
So even though, now think about this, his freshman year, He did nothing during the regular season. He started a bowl game, but he still got over $2 million from sitting the bench.
Right.
Okay. Last year, supposedly, he got about $2.4 million and won 10 games, got into the college football playoff. He was not one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the SEC, but he still made that money. Now he wants to go up to $4 million, and he really, in my opinion, he's still not one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the SEC. And Tennessee said, no, you signed a 3-year contract with a collective paying you about $8 million. We're not going to tear that up and come back and pay you $4 million. By the way, your freshman year, you didn't do a darn thing, and you still made over $2 million.
Right.
So why should we tear it up and pay you $4 million? So I think you've got a very greedy dad in a very greedy situation, and Tennessee's not buckling it. I don't blame them. And not only that, it's going to disrupt what you can pay other people if you tear that contract up. So the sources I've got have told me he's gone. It's done.
Wow.
He will never play at Tennessee again. He's going to enter the transfer portal April the 16th.
Wow. How about that? And your sources are impeccable because I've worked with you for 30-plus years on this stuff. That is really interesting stuff. By the way, to your point, I didn't watch Tennessee beat Florida in overtime. I thought Nico was the 3rd best quarterback in the game, by the way, that night. I really did. So I hear you, and that was in one game. So you think that he is gone and that he's going to go to the portal and this is not going to get resolved? Because I will tell you, I'm not shocked by that, Jimmy, because I will tell you, when you skip practice, this isn't like an NFL holdout or a pro sports holdout where the other guys all kind of understand because that's the business. It's not the business of college football. So no. I got to believe he'd be hard to be received even if he came back. Am I reading that right?
Well, you are. And another part of that equation is when he skipped practice this morning, I was told there was a team meeting and the players voted not to have him return.
Wow.
They're tired of this. And even though most everybody over there will tell you he's a pretty good kid,
yeah,
they don't want to put up with this. And the big difference that you mentioned the NFL, in the NFL you can fine players for missing practice
or
being a holdout.
Right.
You can't do that in college. You're not going to find anybody.
Good point.
So I think it's a very greedy play by the dad. He hasn't earned the money, but they think if he goes out on the free market, he can make $4 million. He might. I don't think he will because I don't think he's that good, but he might. He hasn't accomplished what Carson Beckett accomplished at Georgia.
Absolutely not.
So, but there may be somebody at Oregon or Southern Cal or UCLA or somewhere that says, yeah, we think he's worth $4 million. We got a bind at quarterback, and so we'll pay him. Now, does that put Tennessee at a bind at quarterback? It does. Frankly, I don't think Tennessee's going to be that good this year anyway.
Wow.
I have them as an 8-win team. Okay, I don't have them as a college football playoff team. Take Nico out of the equation, I don't think they get to 8 wins.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think it's going to be a pretty average year for Tennessee.
Wow.
But I'm kind of disgusted with these athletes holding schools hostage, in particular if you have a contract.
Yeah.
I've had 2 contracts in my career, Frank, that I felt, frankly, I thought I got screwed on them.
Right.
But I honored them because I signed them.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the next contract was a little different.
Yeah, that's right.
But you should honor. He was the highest paid NIL guy when he signed this a couple of years ago.
I'll be darned. So I can really sense where Tennessee is. All right, final thing, we won't keep you, but that's interesting. What happens at quarterback now? What's the let's assume you're right and he's gone, never practices again, gone on the 16th in the portal. What's the situation at quarterback for Tennessee?
Well, maybe they go find a quarterback for $2.5 million.
Yeah.
Which I don't think will happen. Jake Mecklenburger is a 4-star quarterback out of Georgia. He's a nice-looking prospect. He's got 1 year under his belt at Tennessee. They signed another 4-star quarterback. He's out of Nashville. His name is McIntyre. He's related to the coaching McIntyres.
Okay.
An outstanding athlete, very good basketball player, and he's a really nice prospect. By the way, they've got a 5-star quarterback committed out of North Carolina for the next year for 2026.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it would look like it's going to fall to Mecklenburger. And I think he could be okay. But, frankly, I think Nico was highly overrated. I saw this baloney about him being a top 5 Heisman candidate entering last year. And I kept telling people around here, put the brakes on it. He's not that good. He's pretty good, but he's not that good. He's not great. Now, could he eventually be great? Maybe. So anyway, I think this hurts Tennessee at the quarterback position. I think it's probably too late to go get one. But as we mentioned, the portal opens April the 16th. Is there a better quarterback than what you got that you think you can get? I don't know. Right now, I would say the answer is no, but I would have never thought Nico would pull a stunt like this, or at least his family would pull a stunt like this. So, we'll see what happens.
All right, interesting stuff. Jimmy Hyams thinks Nico is gone from Tennessee. We'll see if it plays out that way. Jimmy, we appreciate it on short notice. How's your golf game, by the way? You like slaying them? How you doing? Good.
I'm doing okay. I'm not satisfied with my game.
Okay.
I would not make as much NIL money this year on my game as I would have last year.
Yeah, if you were a real retired guy, you would do it, but you're not a real retired guy. You keep working too much. That's the problem. So
I know it's affected my golf game, and I'm not happy about it.
Jimmy, thanks for joining us. The great Jimmy Hyams checking in from Knoxville does a fantastic job and a real good take on Nico. Jimmy, thanks, brother. Great catching up with you. Thanks for spending some time.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it.
All right, my man Jimmy Hyams, one of my dear friends in the business. Jimmy and I did radio together for many, many years, and certainly he always has great takes on that. What a take, though. The fact that he thinks Nico's gone, won't practice again in the portal on the 16th.
Yeah, that is absolutely wild. I mean, it kind of caught me off guard. You and I looked at each other when he said that because Jimmy Hyams is one of the most connected guys in Knoxville.
Yeah,
what he says is pretty interesting.
We'll take a break. One segment to go. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now, a Masters update on 1010XL, brought to you by TopDressing.com and St. John's Middle School Athletic Association.
From the Augusta National Golf Club, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Masters. I'm Ted Emmerich. A whole lot of luck for a player who rarely needs it. Scotty Scheffler's tee shot at the par 3 12th flew the green and landed among the pines and azaleas on the backside. Balls that hang there usually lead to big numbers, but somehow Amen Corner spit it back out close to the green.
Scotty Scheffler with perhaps the break of the week has a makeable pitch now from behind the green down toward the hole, and he has made it. Just like that, from double bogey to birdie, and Scotty Scheffler bounces back after bogeying 10 and 11. He's birdied 12.
John McGinnis, the call on Sirius XM. Yeah, Scheffler needed that. The champion 2 of the last 3 years is 3 back of Justin Rose, who is at 8 under. Scheffler has 6 holes to play here in the second round. You're listening to coverage of the 2025 Masters on Westwood One.
Every day when we're on the road, people around us endanger themselves and others by looking at their phones while driving. There's the sneak-a-peeker who darts their eyes between the road and their texts, or the nightlighter who illuminates their car after dark. If that's you, reconsider before you find yourself becoming the fender-benderer, the got-a-ticketer, or worst of all, the driver who killed someone. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Harbor Freight knows time is money, so for our Spring Black Friday sale, we're getting straight to the deals. Right now, you get 35% off jack stands, 56-inch roll caps under $800, and 2,300 PSI electric pressure washers under $190. See? Straight to the point, so you can get straight to the savings. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until April 13th, 2025 while supplies last. Limitations apply.
Justin Rose was a little spunt by the end of his second round. Lots of scrambling and an uneven 1 under 71 for Rose. He is still the leader at 8 under. Let's check the NHTSA leaderboard. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA. Rose at -8. Bryson DeChambeau 1 back at 7 under and in the clubhouse. Rory McIlroy is as well at 6 under. 6 under 66 today for McIlroy, who's back in the mix. Corey Connors on the course, 2 holes to go. He is 6 under and 2 back. Bernhard Langer at age 67, trying to make the cut at his final Masters a year after tearing his Achilles. Langer doffing his trademark visor and soaking in the standing ovation as he walked up the 18th fairway. Had to get up and down for par from left of the elevated green hole high, but he was short-sighted. He bumped it in, stopped right on the edge of the green, 9 feet from the hole. Langer brushed it just to the right, so a bogey there, a 1 over 73. Langer +3. He is now outside the cut line. From Augusta, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The NASCAR Cup Series will be racing at Bristol, Tennessee for the Food City 500 on Sunday. It'll be 500 laps around the concrete half-mile oval. Denny Hamlin won the spring race last year. He's also coming off back-to-back victories at Martinsville and Darlington. Kyle Larson is the betting favorite to take the checkered flag on Sunday. He's at +450. Hamlin +500. Christopher Bell has won 3 times already this year, +600. Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney are both +800. William Byron is at 1,100 to win Sunday. Joey Logano +1,800. Chris Buescher and Alex Bowman are both +2,000 to win the Food City 500. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Plumbing problem? AC acting up? Septic tank trouble? Don't waste time calling 3 different companies. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. We offer plumbing, septic, and air conditioning services, making it easy for you to work with one trusted company and one simple bill. Every department has highly skilled experts trained for the job. For fast, reliable service from a company that does it all the right way, call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com.
I'm Julie Harrell. I grew up here in Jacksonville and have seen our city grow as well as the number of car crashes. If you need help after a crash, choose a law firm with an actual office here. Lawyers you can meet with face-to-face and who specialize in personal injury. At Harrell & Harrell, we've been here for nearly 40 years, developing relationships with local doctors, law enforcement, helping people just like you. If you've been injured in a crash, call Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Mike Dempsey here. Look, you know, it's been 10 years that I've been vouching for my guys at Dandy Boots, and for a decade, I'm proud of my association with a local family business. They make a great product. I've made no secret that I was a customer long before Dandy ever came on board on 1010XL. But I'm thinking I'm due a little Dandy swag, maybe a little love. How about a Dandy t-shirt, a ball cap? So how about it, Thompson family? What do you got going on over there? In the meantime, I'm going to keep eating those delicious tuna salad sandwiches. So guys, keep helping me out and grab a Dandy sandwich today.
The Jacksonville Icemen have punched their ticket to the Kelly Cup playoffs in April. But first, the Icemen have an action-packed weekend with the Savannah Ghost Pirates. Friday and Saturday night at 7. Then it's the Orlando Solar Bears. Sunday at 3. All games at 5-Star Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Iceman Hockey is #Frozen Frenzy.
You can't go inside your home team's locker room, so Jags beat reporter Hays Carlyon goes there for you.
Work on three, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hays Carlyon here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Jacksonville, you know a good defense wins games, and a good fence protects your home. Frank Frangie here. Coil Fencing has been around the block since 1927. Literally, they probably fenced it too. From tough chain link to sleek aluminum fences your HOA will love, Coil is the name to trust. Nearly a century strong and still standing tall. Call Coil today. You can trust them. Call 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Breyer, president of Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
And I'm Zach Breyer. When my dad started in business in 1990, I wasn't even born yet.
That's true. And after 35 years and nearly 20,000 satisfied customers, we literally have a showroom in every neighborhood.
So whether you need more outdoor living space with a glass or screen enclosure, or you're looking to transform your home with new flooring, we've got you covered.
Visit our websites, or better yet, do yourself a favor and stop by one of our showrooms on Phillips Highway to experience the Lifetime difference and receive 20% off your purchase.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, let's talk about diamond cutting. How is the diamond price affected by the way it is cut?
Frank, that's probably the most important question asked about diamonds, because the trade-off between a diamond cut for maximum beauty and one that's not is the diamond's carat weight. You see, diamond cutters buy rough diamonds based on quality and weight. So as they cut the rough diamond, everything cut away affects profits. However, there's specific known cutting parameters, and each deviation from these means they have a heavier, less beautiful diamond. Unfortunately, a customer can't detect all those cutting imperfections. They need expert help about a diamond's cut grade. You see, for any round diamond of a particular color, clarity, and carat weight, there are as many as 10 different prices that can vary by as much as 50%. At Underwood's, we look specifically at how a diamond's cut before we look at anything else, because it's the most important factor when it comes to a diamond's beauty, and to us, whether it should carry the Underwood name or not.
Friendly competition meets great futures. It's the Birdies and Bounces Tournament presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation, Friday, May 9th at the Yards. Where else can a pickleball tournament, 15 holes of golf, food, fun, beverages, raffles, and great activities help a worthy organization like the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida, where 59 clubs serve nearly 6,000 youth daily. For tickets and team registration, email Charlie C. at bgcnf.org.
When it's time for new tires, you can count on Big Chief Tire for quality and value. Frank Frangie here. Their expert team will help you quickly find the right fit, ensuring a safe, comfortable ride. With quality options, fair prices, and quick installation, you'll be back on the road in no time. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today to schedule your appointment and roll into 2025 with great confidence. Big Chief Tire keeps Jack rolling.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where we've been on the program today, we've talked a little bit about the Masters. We gave you sort of a scoring update. We talked about Nico. I'm going to say it right here, Hacker. Iamaleava.
Works for me.
Yeah, I had it wrong. So Iamaleava. Anyway, Nico might be leaving. Jimmy Himes kind enough to come on the program and made it very clear. He thinks his sources tell him he's out. They're not going to be able to solve this thing, and he'll be in the portal on April 16th. And Jimmy with some very strong comments about that. Pete Prisco, before that came on, talked to NFL football with us. We talked draft and a whole lot more, and Hacker and I talked about some of the coaching circumstances, Todd Golden and others, in the world of college and pro sports. And that is the cool down. That is where we've been. And oh, by the way, I got a thought coming up right here. JJ, fire it up.
10-10 take.
Our 10-10 take, by the way, on a regular basis, we give it to you, and it is always brought to you by our friends at Duck Rooter. Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. That's duckrooter.com. I don't think Todd Golden's going to leave. I think he's going to be the Florida coach for a while. I think at some point he'll coach in the NBA, but I agree with something Hacker said earlier today. I think the run has just begun. I think Florida's going to have a very good basketball team next year. I think they will be a regular, maybe like Billy Donovan was always in that 8, always in that 16. I'd be surprised if it's not that. What he did was truly magical. I think he'll even have better, more talented teams than he had this year. This year won the whole thing. It's going to be fun watching Todd Golden, the Todd Golden era, just beginning at Florida, and that is the 10-10 take. All right, almost out of time. Got a few minutes left. So you're playing golf tomorrow. That's the word on the street. That's what my operatives tell me.
First time in maybe 3 years.
The last round of golf was 3 years ago.
About
You're playing
2022, yeah.
Okay, you're playing tomorrow. You're gonna be hitting balls. You hit balls all week. I think.
My last swing was 2022, so I'm thinking I might just go to the first tee tomorrow and see what happens.
Not hit balls, nothing.
I don't think so.
Haven't played in 3 years. You're going right to the first tee.
Going right to the first tee, and I'll make it happen.
Do you have gear?
So I look in my golf bag earlier today, and you'll get a real kick out of this. So I got a huge golf bag full of golf balls, obviously, which I was happy.
Probably brand new Pro Vs.
I was relieved. So when I pulled out the ESPN 1460 golf ball, a station that we haven't been a part of for what 15 plus years,
right.
That goes to show you the great equipment I'm going to have tomorrow.
I would ask you what kind of ball, but you'd have no idea, really, would you?
No idea. No, and I got 10 tees,
right?
So I'm figuring that might get me through the first 12 holes at least. So that's what I got for you tomorrow.
I like it. I love this. And by the way, you probably had some of those top flights. Remember the top flights?
Oh,
they were all rocks, is what they
top
were.
Flight XLs, I'm sure.
I'm sure. So you're playing. I think it's great that you're playing golf. I want to hear all the details if you go around to golf tomorrow. I think that's.
Here's my thought. I got a cigar. I got one of the Leon Sears CS cigars. I'm gonna take a
You're playing with a bunch
out
of
there.
buddies, right?
Playing with some buddies. Shay.
Do they
Sid,
play golf
Skinner.
more often than you?
They play more than me, but that's relative. They don't play very much either.
Okay.
But they got the itch. It's the Masters itch, right?
Yeah.
Whenever the Masters happens.
What time's tea time?
10:40 in the morning.
Okay, yeah.
10:40 in the morning. So I'll probably.
So your golf clubs are still there.
Golf clubs are still there. I got a Jaguar golf bag that I think I got about 20 years ago.
Okay, love that. Okay.
I mean, you should see my equipment. It's unbelievable.
But now that you've lost the weight, you'll swing free and easy.
You know what's funny about that? I'm actually legitimately curious. I have not played golf in the 200s in forever. I mean, I was $3 last time I played.
Okay.
So losing the 100 pounds, I am curious to see how my golf swing is tomorrow.
Okay. And by the way, the word on the street is your nickname Hacker came from your golf game.
Mike Dempsey, August 20th, 2002. My golf game was terrible, and that's how I got the nickname Hacker.
We've played one. Didn't we play one time?
Yeah, we played a couple times. A couple times,
okay.
You destroyed me.
Okay, well,
but the fellowship was great.
The fellowship's fantastic, yeah. So I'm playing golf tomorrow, too.
Oh, good. I bet you're going to shoot better than I am.
I've certainly played more recently. I've certainly played a little more recently than you have.
We can exchange texts, exchange pleasantries. I'll send you videos on my round.
Please, I want to see you around. I love the fact that you haven't played in 3 years. You have no interest in hitting balls. That's the best part. No interest in practicing. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't even go to the putting green.
No.
I'd go right to the first tee.
I'm going to light up the stogie, and I'm going to let her rip from
right
hole
to the
number
first
one.
tee.
Yeah.
Hacker, you got the honors. Right to the first tee.
Absolutely. See what happens, man.
That is honest. Hey, man, I've enjoyed this week. I know Hays told me after last week how much he enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. So, and you're going to be our bullpen guy now moving forward.
No, I certainly appreciate the opportunity. I love doing Hacker After Dark, but whenever I can hang out with you guys, I'm certainly available.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. So I appreciate you spending the time and coming in here, and we're gonna like I said, we're gonna have a lot of fun doing this. We'll talk. The thing that surprised me, and I'll tell you this, R.J. Saunders, who does a terrific job with Open Gym, the NBA show. You're going on with him Sunday.
Yes.
Did he know I was available? Did he? I mean, he didn't call me for the NBA talk.
Well, we were breaking down LaMelo.
He's got my number, right?
He does. We were breaking down LaMelo Ball in the hallway earlier. I thought you were going to stop by and enjoy the conversation.
Look, let me tell you this for folks as you're listening now. I was going down to going to Griffin's office. So I was coming around the corner right where my old office used to be, right by it. And there was some serious NBA talk going on. I mean, I walked right through it. I didn't want to stop.
We were solving all the NBA's problems right then and there.
Yeah. And Griffin and I went down. And Griffin's my age, by the way. And I said, Steve, we need to talk some NBA with the boys. He said, Magic and Bird.
That's right.
That's our NBA.
That's right.
That's an old guy's NBA. So that'll be. By the way, one serious NBA question. You're a Magic fan. They're in?
They're in. They've clinched the 7th seed, so they're in the play-in tournament.
You tell people how, because the play-in, for people that don't know, it's not 7 plays 10 and 8 plays 9. It's more complicated.
It's weird. So the Magic are 7. They're going to play 8, which is probably Atlanta.
7 plays 8 and 9 plays 10 if you haven't followed it. Explain why that's like that.
7 plays 8. The winner of 7-8 gets the 7 seed.
Correct.
And will play the Boston Celtics. The loser of 7-8 plays the winner of 9-10.
Correct.
And the reason they did that is because obviously teams were tanking at the end.
Right.
And now it gives more teams an opportunity to get into the playoff mix. So Orlando at the 7 is likely to play Atlanta next week. Hopefully they win, and they're in as the 7. If they lose that game, they're going to play the winner of Miami, Chicago. So there is a scenario where the Magic and the Heat are going to have a one-game playoff. Winner is in, loser season is over. I hope it doesn't come to that. Orlando will get 2 home games, too. So they have 2 home games, and they have to win one of those.
So 10 teams from each conference go. 9 plays the 10. And even if you win, you're not in.
9 plays the 10. Loser is out. Winner advances to play the loser of 7-8.
Yes, there you go. Hey, it's been great this week. You've done a great job. I appreciate it.
Frank, enjoyed it, pal.
Let's say hello to Rick Below.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
You always dress for the occasion.
Oh, there's no
I mean, there's a guy, there's a Masters going on.
Yeah.
You walk in a green Masters shirt, fresh from
collared, which is rare for me.
It is collared, and it's straight from a guy. I like that shirt.
Well,
I mean, that's a good shirt.
Here's my deal, Frank. Okay, this was supposed to be maybe the greatest non-football week of the year.
Okay,
I always think it's the week of the players because it's also free agency.
Right.
This week began with Alex Ovechkin scoring the most goals in the history of the National Hockey League. Gators won a national title.
I didn't know that. I heard.
Okay. Rory McIlroy is going to win the freaking Masters. Did you see what he did today? He was absolutely... Dude, I'm going to Jamaica Wednesday morning. I know some of our listeners. I may not return. I mean, you got to be kidding me. This is April. Yeah. Sports is supposed to be enjoyable.
Yes, all the bad stuff happened, didn't it? All the bad stuff happened. I did not think about the Ovechkin thing, but I did know about your love for both the Gators and Rory, and they're both having a very good week.
He already won the Players.
He did. So
I'll be with Dickie Blue tomorrow, my brother. We're going to try to do something that put a hex on him from a bar in Tampa.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be a fun time.
Playing River Hills, maybe?
I don't think we're going to play. I'm not going to leave tonight. I'm going to leave tomorrow morning. So, we want to watch. This event is just so incredible. And you know what? If Rory plays the way he did today, disliking someone is kind of out. When you just go out and do what he has done. Yeah. I mean, today was just flawless. And, even off the tee, he made some mistakes. And he got some breaks. He didn't get breaks yesterday. He got breaks today. He got on 12 and on 13. And, he ended up responding the way that he has. So we'll see. Still a lot of golf left this afternoon.
All that'll be coming up on Rick Beluga's Into the Night program. We'll see you next week. So long.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show.